Hi, today I'm here with Avi and Sunil from the Emperor Nursery Group. They were established in January 23 and have 3 settings currently in Hertfordshire and Hampshire with plans for a few more along the way. So thanks for coming in and chatting to me today, guys. What I want to talk to you about today was kind of, when I speak to sellers a lot of the time, they ask me, well, why are people getting into this market? People with no nursery backgrounds, why are they getting into this market? So, because neither of you were in nurseries beforehand, were you?
Yeah, so our story's quite funny. Firstly, we're school friends. So we actually met when we were 13.
Oh,
which is really nice. Yeah, so we've been very good friends for many, many years. But the way our lives took us was we both were in the corporate jobs in the city, working very, very long hours. I used to kind of leave at 7 in the morning and get back at like 10, 11 at night. And that was fine when I was in my younger days. And then my wife got pregnant and we had our first daughter about 3 years ago. And when that happened, I realized within the first few months, I wasn't watching my daughter grow up. And then you kind of think, what's the point of life? What are we doing this all for? And I'll let Sunil say his side, but I think he was in a similar situation. And that's kind of where the idea came from.
Yeah, so my corporate experience was, I remember my last project was traveling all over the country. And at the time I was engaged, not yet married, but I just kind of thought, I need to be just based at home. Whatever that looks like, I just need to be based at home. Yeah. And then I spent a few years working in the care industry. So elderly care homes as part of kind of a wider family office. And in that business, that kind of grew quite well. So I felt like there's quite a lot of transferable skills. And I thought that's something that I could really have something for kind of ourselves as kind of our business. But it's something that I felt like I was learning on the job exactly how to do it.
Was it kind of moved because you were in the care? Did it kind of say, like, oh, nurseries is an obvious choice? Or was there a particular reason you went nurseries in particular?
So in a similar boat, kind of we both became dads at very similar times. So it just kind of made sense for us that one, we wouldn't know our customer better. In any business, at any time, we were looking for nurseries ourselves as parents. And we just thought, you know, with our skill sets, kind of in our corporate experience, there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to provide the best childcare for our community that we want to support. So
fair enough.
And I think that's quite common now because a lot of sellers we're speaking to, and we ask them, we hear their stories, it always comes from when I had my first child and I was looking for a nursery space for them and I couldn't find the right one, so I set up my own. And we're like, actually, that's quite funny because we're doing the same thing 30 years later.
Yeah. And I think, you know, there's a real transition between often they were setting up, but they were very kind of, they were in setting, they were managing it every day. But actually what you've now got is people talk a lot about investors and hands-off investors, but you're hands-on investors, aren't you? Because you're very focused in the business and you're in the business.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that you're bought a nursery and you're just kind of carrying on with your day job in the meantime.
No, of course. We're very, very hands-on investors. That's why we feel, I wouldn't even say investors. We don't like that word. No. We're actually like owners, managers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one thing that we kind of acknowledge is that we have childcare experts within our team. So yes, our backgrounds aren't childcare. No. However, we think that we can support our teams who are the childcare experts. So if they tell us we need to do X, Y, Z, we'll be like, yes. How do we do it? Tell us how, and we can figure out kind of how we support it from a technology base or a resources base or finance base. We'll figure it out with them.
Yeah.
But I think there's something that often shocks a lot of nursery owners is that actually how much of the business skills are so easily transferable though, aren't they? Because in reality, you know, in a new sector, often you have to learn a new vocabulary and obviously there's new regulations, everything like that, but actually so much of it is just very easy to implement. And are you finding that actually you're going in and the, you know, sellers are very much like, oh, well, yeah, this is very business driven, process driven as well.
Yeah. So I think from our experience, we know how to kind of make things as easy as they can be. So whether that's using systems, whether it's software, whether it's now AI, we actually think we can make that job as easy as it can be at the moment for those members of the team that are involved in that process. But what it actually means is that those that need to be in the room and that quality time of spending time with the children, delivering that childcare, are not stuck in the office doing the stuff that's hindering them.
Yeah.
They're the ones actually on the ground, spending time with children, writing up those observations that they've actually had time to do because we've taken all that other stuff away from them.
And all the paperwork. Fair enough. Well, I hope you guys found that interesting. If you have any questions or comments for the three of us, please do drop them below and we'll see you at the next one.